Hi, ladies and gentlemen. Today, I'd like to share with you on the topic of mentorship and why it's significant for us to actually get mentors. First, let me take off these spectacles, glasses. So first and foremost, I'd like to say I appreciate the concept of mentorship to the core because of the role that it has played in my particular life. By the way, don't mind my voice, guys. I just couldn't pass on an opportunity to make this video despite the fact that I have a bit of flu. So don't mind that. It's not something that will be transmitted from my phone to yours or from my camera to yours. So you are sorted in that particular aspect. So the concept of mentorship, what is it? Why is it important? And what can we do to improve our lives with it? So first and foremost, mentorship is when you take the expertise and the lived experience of someone else who's greater than you in life, and you want to adopt it for your own life by learning the best strategies that can work from their lived experiences. So I have a number of mentors in my life, and some of them are even younger than myself, and some of them are older than myself. But it's all about where our paths actually met and how we actually leveraged over each other's lived experiences so that we can move forward together and progressively. So in a nutshell, that's what mentorship is all about. Why is it important? Mentorship is important essentially because, well, the mistakes that someone makes in a particular experience. Say I now want to start a business. Yeah? Instead of starting a business from scratch and making my own mistakes from the get-go, how about I leverage the mistakes of others? How about I learn from the lessons that others have learned? How about I actually don't necessarily go through the challenges, therefore I expedite my level of success? That's the importance and the gist of why mentorship is important. You don't want to waste time, number one, stressing about how do I get customers for my business. So how do I move from an ideation stage to an actual implementation stage? And remember that mentorship comes in many forms. Mentorship comes in the forms of books. So people who have been alive and have succeeded in their life and then left a legacy for you to learn from by actually writing a book, wording their thoughts, and so on. And through that, you then get to actually leverage off of their experiences. You actually garner some of your experience from them. And then secondly, mentors come in the form of someone you actually meet at a conference, at a seminar, at a speaking engagement, at a particular lesson, and then you actually exchange contacts with them after you've seen that there's certain value that they can bring into your life and a certain impact that they can actually bring into your life. Then mentorship also comes in the form of your day-to-day individual whom you've actually met before, but through your interaction and engagement with them, you've actually learned the impact that they can have and the difference that they can make in moving you from here to a trajectory that's much higher than where you currently are. So mentorship, it's easy. It comes in many forms. Let me just share an experience of where I became a mentor myself. So back in 2016, um, I was a fully fledged environmental health practitioner working for the city of Ekurhuleni. And then I was invited to speak about environmental health and the role that environmental health plays at municipal level, right? So I went there to the speaking engagements and started interacting with some of the community service environmental health practitioners. So these are environmental health practitioners that are now entered the field of environmental health, but they need this community service experience for them to be recognized by the Health Professions Council of South Africa as independent environmental health practitioners. So that's number one. I like saying number one, I wonder why. And so during that speaking engagement, I was mentally alert enough to see and picture, and capture, in fact, a particular community service environmental health practitioner by the name of Mfundo Lionel Nguta. So the reason I picked him up because his personality kind of reminded me of me. You know, he asked a lot of questions, he was willing to learn, and he engaged as much as possible in using that particular platform. And so I recognize that this is a gift. This boy has a gift, he has a talent, and he's actually knowledgeable and put in the time to prepare for these speaking engagements from different speakers, including myself. And he asked much of the relevant questions that one wouldn't anticipate from someone at community service level. So lo and behold, 2 weeks later we meet again, and I happen to see him walking to work much earlier than any other community service environmental health practitioner would, because I'm an early bird myself. I go to work an hour, 2 hours earlier, you know. And as I was entering the gate, the hospital where he worked is just opposite where I used to work. And so I picked up that this guy actually, besides everything that I had seen 2 weeks before, 2 weeks prior, the talent comes from his work ethic. So I actually called him up and said, my brother, can I mentor you? There's something that I see in you, and while I am of your age group, you know, I'm only a year older than yourself, but can you give me the opportunity to mentor you so that I can actually share my experiences with you and actually make you grow even more within the field of environmental health? So he agreed, and the next day we had our sit down session. Now, this is how we structured the mentorship sessions, because I'm no guru at mentorship. So we agreed that first and foremost we'd be open to each other's ideas. So it wasn't necessarily a give only, it was a give and take from both of us. We had to create a synergy between the two of us, and we also had to create a symbiotic relationship where he would gain and I would gain, he would share and I would share. We would decide on what topics we'd actually deal with. We didn't want to isolate ourselves into the topics of just environmental health and the experience that I have, but we wanted to go beyond that. You know, we wanted to speak about physical health, mental health, and what are the books for us to read and share on, and open our mini book group that only comprised of us two, you know, and what ideas can we have that can shape, mold, and change the environmental health landscape. What business ideas can we actually develop and go into as a partnership? And you know, a year of this mentorship program went by, and lo and behold, a year later we actually decided to open EnviroSwitch, which is an environmental health service company. At this point, we had understood each other so much, how each one of us thinks, how we'd be key role players in whatever endeavor we'd be opening, you know. And so it worked out for us. So that's why I value mentorship so much. And so now I'm the mentor, he's my protege, but sometimes I learn a lot from him and sometimes he learns a lot from me, but we balance each other out. That's what mentorship actually, the advantages of mentorship include such that. So that's just my lived experience from being a mentor. From being a mentee, as I mentioned before, I have a number of mentors, some younger than me, your Emmanuel Benokos, who have, you know, in their field of PR and marketing have done exceptionally well. And through him being my mentor, we've been able to leverage opportunities where I'm able to speak on certain platforms where I don't even need to pay for those platforms because of that mentorship, mentee relationship that I built with him. And he knows that he can benefit from my insight in a place where he otherwise most likely would not have. So that's the key thing about mentorship. You need to know what is it that you gain from this relationship between the two of you, you know. And you know, the other thing about how does one actually get a mentor, number one, actually ask the person that you'd like to be mentored by, can you actually mentor me? This is what I have to bring to the table. This is why I'd like you to be my mentor. And you know, see what he says. Persist if he doesn't give you a good enough answer as to why he doesn't want to mentor you. But you know, don't chase behind it too much to the extent that you now literally just wasting your time for the sake of mentorship. So there has to be that value add even from his side. If you can see that the opportunity is not forthcoming, then don't waste your time and don't necessarily use an opportunity that may never come, but send the necessary emails, make the necessary calls, follow and know their story, and know what's the value add that they're going to add into your particular life if you actually become a mentee to them. So thank you very much for listening. I know there are a number of things I could have touched on when it comes to the mentorship aspect, but I figured me sharing my experience might inspire you to actually look at life a little different. So you get it from books, you get it from books are a representation of dead people mostly, but sometimes they are living legends whom you can gain the expertise, experience from, as well as the knowledge and wisdom necessary for you to unleash your potential. But you also get it from individuals that you interact with in different platforms, different events, different engagements. You also get it from individuals that you engage with on a one-on-one basis. And then also YouTube is actually a good platform. I know that I have mentees that are on this particular platform that I've never actually met face to face, but based on what I share on a weekly basis, on a daily basis, they actually get to leverage off of my particular lived experiences, and that's a good thing for us, guys. So let's use these platforms, let's use these opportunities, and let's share them with one another. Peace out. I'll get well soon, and my voice will actually come back, and you'll get to enjoy what I get to say. Thank you very much. Peace out.